I know the pressure of marriage right now is on the rise, but trust me, that is not all that is required for life. People who rush in quickly are already rushing out. And of course, it takes more to stay in marriage. So even when you marry the right person, but in your 20s, sometimes you could struggle to find your feet back. I can tell you that it is not easy. And trust me, the things I shared in this video are things you would find impacting if you listen to them over and over again. If marriage is part of what you want in life, then you need to prioritize it. Now, the question should be, if I should prioritize marriage, or if you should prioritize marriage, when exactly do you think is the right time to settle down? Everybody goes through different experiences that make up who they are, what they become, and the legacy they leave behind. So if you care about a fruitful life, a fulfilled life, like if you want to really enjoy your life, if you really want to get the best out of life, getting married in your 20s is a no. Have you ever considered, people who are not satisfied with the kind of lives that their parents ever lived? Like you see people, older people before you, and you feel like there could have been a better way or a better kind of life they would have chosen. I want you to understand that everybody had the chance to make the difference. Now, what makes the difference are the choices you make, and again, what you know about the choices you make. Because you can actually want to take the right choices, or people want to do the right thing, but sometimes they don't know how to go about it. They don't even know what the right thing is. So when I talk about getting married in your 20s, you would probably be thinking about the fact that I don't want you to settle down early, because of course so many persons get into love very early, like get in love, you start loving someone in your 20s, and of course you want to take the next step of wedding the person or becoming a married man, a married woman, a married girl, or a married man, a married guy. That's very beautiful, that's fine. But I want you to know that if you want the best out of life, if you want to live a fulfilled life, like a complete life, if you want to live a life that is very satisfied, then getting married at your 20s, it is not the best idea. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Marriage is also a blessing from God. But of course, you have to, carry it the right way. It has to be managed the right way if you are going to get the best out of it. Remember that every tool is for a purpose. And when you use the right tools for the right thing, that is when you get the best results out of that thing. But when you use the wrong tool for the wrong thing, that is when you don't get satisfied with the result or the outcome you find at the end of your operation. So when we talk about marriage, marriage is part of life, it's part of what we do in life. But of course, we don't have to marry when we ought not to be married, because that is where the problem sets in. That is why you have a lot of people who are not satisfied by their marriage. You see a lot of divorce, you see a lot of issues, complications, a lot of wounded people, a lot of broken people, broken children, broken spouses. A lot of things are just going on today because of marriage, the same thing that God gave as a blessing. And sometimes you begin to wonder where all these are coming from. All of them are coming from the fact that people are having misplaced priorities. And I wouldn't want you to be a victim to that. So in this video, if you can listen to me carefully and understand everything I have to say to you, you would understand with me and agree with me that you don't have to get into marriage in your 20s, and you have the power and you have the right to do so. Yes, so let's get into the things I have to share in this video. Okay, so the first question I want to ask you, and I really want you to take this question seriously, is what do you want from life? Like, have you ever sat down and calculated the things you want from life? I don't mean what you want to become or what you want to be, like the profession you have chosen to, make part of you, like becoming a medical doctor, an engineer, a professor, and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is part of what you may want from life, but it is not all you want from life. So you have to begin with a question: what do I really want from life? That entails your vision, your decisions, to become whoever you want to be. Like when we talk about vision, dreams, is a whole of all you want to be. Like, what can you see? If you were to place demand on life and take from life what you feel you need or what you feel your desire is, what would that one thing be? Or two things, or three things, or even many things that you want from life? If you can understand that you want different things in life, that is when you get the fact that everything you want in life can never come at one time. You want several things, but they cannot, you can't get them at one time. Like you have 12 months in a year. You cannot get everything at 1 year. We talk about short-term goals, we talk about long-term goals, and that's just life for you. So when you understand that you have so many things you want from life, then you begin to place them in order of priority. And of course, marriage is part of the things you want from life, but sometimes people make the mistake of not prioritizing marriage. Like, we feel that we get married when we get along with people we love, or when you feel like you feel strong for somebody and you just want to settle down because you feel strong for the person. But that's not true. If you really want a fulfilled life, like if you want to be strategic with your life, if you want to make the best decisions that wouldn't put you into trouble or get you into mistakes, because mistakes is inevitable in life, but of course we have the power to control the kind of things that we do, and it's going to help us to avoid some costly mistakes. So if marriage is part of what you want in life, then you need to prioritize it. Now the question should be, if I should prioritize marriage, or if you should prioritize marriage, when exactly do you think is the right time to settle down? Because we have a lot of things to achieve right now, beginning with identifying who you are, which is the first thing first. Like, you have actually 3 stages in life to achieve everything you want in life. You have from your 20s to your 30s, which is 10 years, that's a decade. You have from your 30s to your 40s, that is another 10 years, another decade. And you have your 40s to your 50s, that is another 10 decades. These are 3 active stages you have in your life to achieve the best things of life. Like, these are times when you have the energy, the strength, you can actually think about something and you can actually get some job done. Like, you have the strength, you have the power, you can do so many things between the ages of your 20s to your 49, or between the ages of your 20s to your 30s to your 40s, and lately to your 50. Like, 50 is the max. You have to understand that these are the active stage that you have. So when you are in your formative age, which is your 20s, it is not the time to be married, because there is so many things going on in your 20s. In your 20s is a time of self-discovery. In your 20s is a time of making mistakes, learning from your past, and beginning, it's simply a time to lay the foundation of your life, because you have a lot of things you want to achieve from life and in life. And of course, so many of them are the things you'll be have the privilege of assessing in your 30s. And of course, when your foundation is not strong enough, that is when you begin to have a messed up life, because now in your 20s, when you should be finding yourself, you are getting married, and when you get married, you get involved in another person's life, and of course a lot of things is required from you to the person you are married to, from you to the children you are going to be bringing into this world. And of course, when you have not found you, it becomes a problem, because you'll be suffering from self-identity crisis, and that messes up everything. Like, that is the root cause of a lot of issues people are having today. So in your 20s is a time where you build the capacity to carry what your 30s is coming with, is because life is progressive. Like, it's just like someone who is building a house. You build the foundation first of all, then you begin to fix the pillars, and you begin to do the roofing, you begin to do all these things. But of course, it takes the foundation to carry all these things. So your 20s is the most sensitive aspect of your life. In fact, your 20s is a time when you shouldn't get engaged into anybody's life. You should focus on you, finding yourself, discovering yourself, fixing yourself, learning, evolving, becoming. You just have to, be your complete self in your 20s. Like, some people actually take more time for themselves. Like, they want to take more of their 30s to building themselves, promoting themselves, and building values into themselves. And that's beautiful. That's your choice if you want to. But at least your 20s should be separated. It should be a sacred moment for you. It should be a time for you, because you want a fruitful life. You don't want a complicated life. Now, some people will be like, I can actually get married in 20s. Like, the truth of the matter is, I got married in my 20s, and that's the truth. But I must tell you the truth, that it's taking God's grace. Like, thank God for the kind of man I marry, because that is helping me. Had it been he's not even closer to who I'm meant to be, or my dreams, or what I want to become in life, I would have been the most confused person on this earth. Like, I would have been the most disrupted individual that has ever lived. But thank God for him. So, okay, I actually understand that certain situations can actually lead people to get married in their 20s, like societal pressure, financial pressure, or simply ignorance, because what you don't know can actually lead you to be married when you shouldn't. And, of course, when the pressure of maybe your emotions or whatever circumstance it can be, it can just push you to, wanting to be married, thinking that marriage is a road to your deliverance or is a way of escape. Like some people think like that. They believe that once they are in love, because the person has shown you a little care, a little romance, a little concern, you believe that that is how you are going to be happily married, happily ever after kind of life. But it's never like that. It doesn't exist. There's so many things that is inside of marriage that, of course, if you don't build yourself properly, you will get into there and you may find yourself out of marriage. You mustn't get married because you are under pressure financially and you feel that this person is rich or wealthy, or with this person you can build together just to get out of poverty. And you mustn't marry because of the society. Like anything can push you into wanting to make that decision, but I to wanting to make that decision. But trust me, I believe that you can actually excuse yourself because life is not always greener on the other side. It's better to live with the pain of waiting and waiting and waiting for some time than to get into something that you don't even know how to come out of it, or maybe you've lost the time and the opportunity to rewrite your stories. Like living with regrets is the worst kind of life anybody can live. So you have to just choose a path. You have to just choose a price to pay. Like some people want to get married and get out of loneliness, get out of singleness and all that. But you have to understand that when you get into the marriage, some people are even much more lonely when they are in marriage. So marriage can't just give you that affection and that relationship you require, except if you know some certain things and actually come in with some certain things that requires both of you building the marriage, because marriage is a place where you've come to build. And of course, you need some qualities, you need some tools, you need some readiness. And part of it is self discovery, self identity, and getting to know who you are so that you can bring in, who you are into the marriage and be able to build a life with the other person. And when that is not in place, that is when you are setting yourself up for more failure just by getting married. Age runs from you, and when it's gone forever. When your 20s is gone, your 20s is gone forever, and you are never going to catch it up again. It takes the grace of God for you to have divine opportunities to recover the times you lost in your 20s. So that is why it's so important. You have to prioritize your 20s. So I'm actually focusing so much in what the things you do in your 20s in this video, because I know this is the foundation of your life. And if you can be able to get this foundation right, the whole building of your life, your destiny will be so perfect because they will be well fitted into the foundation, and the foundation can be able to carry you and to help you become a better person. So, what then happens when you marry in your 20s? Or would I say, what are the dangers of getting married in your 20s? Number one is that you are going to wake up with a lot of regrets. Like a regret is about a time missed. It's about an opportunity that is missed, a situation that you would have taken control of, but you made a mistake in one way or the other and you could not get everything under control. That is what brings about regret, an opportunity that was missed. So you are likely to wake up one morning or one day and begin to regret the fact that you didn't build yourself in your 20s because you have lost the time. You have to understand that no matter how much you try, you can't just get to know everything like in your 20s, or just like a child who is learning how to walk or a child who is yet to learn how to talk. You don't expect the baby to know everything at one time. Certain stages require certain knowledge, and that's why getting married in your 20s would deny you that opportunity. And of course, you cannot be able to give some certain things, not because you just got into someone's life or you are just distracted, but because it is not yet time for that thing. Like you still need some certain preparation. So in your 20s, it is not a time when you know everything. You can't, no matter how you try. So you have to just give yourself more time to feed and feed and feed. And that is exactly why marriage should be taken, off the picture completely, so that you keep finding yourself at least to a level before you talk about marriage. Another disadvantage of getting married in your 20s is that you will not have the time to build your financial security. You have to get it that your 20s is a time where you are still learning a lot of things. It's a time when you are trying out new things. Of course, people make mistakes when they do new things because they are learning how to get the job done. And in the process of doing that, you're going to be making a lot of mistakes, and you're going to be learning from them, and you're going to be deciding on what works better, the kind of business, the kind of job, and what to do to build your finances. Of course, money is built, money is nurtured. You learn the culture of savings, you learn the kind of jobs or businesses that will work better for you to build your finances. But of course, in your 20s, if you are not done building your finances, you don't even have a financial capacity, how do you think that you're going to carry on a successful married life? Because marriage is about money, of course, money is about life. You're going to be buying and, of course, selling. You're going to be taking care of so many things that requires some funds in the house. And when you get into marriage unprepared financially, some of the things that the married ones won't tell you that they go through is the financial stress in marriage, and it causes a lot of issues. And so many divorce, of course, has happened because of financial struggle or financial stress. So when you should be taking time with your finances is also in your 20s. No matter how wealthy your parents is, of course, you need to take time to learn the business, to learn the job, to know how to take care of this and how to take care of that. So if you don't know these things, you are probably going to struggle in your marriage just because you don't know, and just because you didn't give enough time to learn, enough time to study. So in your 20s is a time where you take time to build your financial capacity, your financial life, because you need it as one of the pillars that is going to carry even your marriage and your life entirely, and giving you a better and a beautiful life. So if you want to live a peaceful life, of course, consider building a financial capacity. And your 20s shouldn't be given to a man or a woman in marriage just because you are under pressure to be married. So you need to find a way to work out things for your finances, whether you are a girl or you are a man. It doesn't matter. Like some girls believe that they don't need to work hard, they just need to marry a wealthy man, and it doesn't make sense. And of course, some men also look out for ladies who already have money, who already made it, and they want to hook up with them just because they want that shelter of finances. Make your money yourself. Hustle for yourself. If you have anything to do, begin now that you are much younger to begin to work so hard to make sure that you gain, at least attain a level of financial freedom, or you are very close to it before you think about marriage, because it is really going to affect you. No matter how much you love someone, you cannot just love the person without money. There will always come a time where you need money to support the person, to buy this, to buy that, to get this, to feed, or to take care of the person. And of course, you wouldn't want to experience that. So this is one of the serious disadvantage that some people who get married in their 20s face. So don't expose yourself to such risk. So the next question is, what should you be doing in your 20s since you are not to be getting married in your 20s? Like I've talked about a few things that your 20s requires, or what you should be doing in your 20s. Okay, so you have to get it that nothing just happens, you make things happen. Okay, so in your 20s is a time where you build values. You build values. What is values? Values are the things that people see in you and they value you. Values are the things that makes you feel confident. Values are the things that makes you useful when you are in an environment. You step into an environment, you are recognized by what you do. You are respected because of this or that, or what you can offer. So you need to ask yourself, what do I have as a value? Like when people get me, what do they get? It's important. What is that thing that you can do? So your 20s is a time where you build these values into yourself. So find your passion, find your dream, find your desire, find one thing that you feel like you are born to do, or you are created for, and begin to build that value and begin to build the values inside of you. If it takes you to learn, you have to just learn. If you have to go to school, if you have to join some groups of people, if you have to, you know exactly how to get these values into you. And you need to sit down and have your plan. Take your time. Your 20s is enough. 10 years, a decade is enough. And of course, you have to begin from somewhere. In your 20s is a time where you have to build emotional and mental maturity. It's so important because you need them in marriage. So in your 20s is a time to read books. You have your time all for yourself. Like, you are not distracted by anybody. Nobody is dragging your attention so much. Of course, people will love you. People want to relate with you. But in your 20s, because you are single, you have your boundaries. Like without offending anybody, you can actually take all the time for yourself, all the day for yourself. But of course, when you are in marriage, you are committed. Like you are required to be committed to the person while the person is committed to you. And that, of course, you don't have your time all for yourself. You have to share your time, whether you like it or not, except if you don't want to be in the marriage anymore or you don't feel like you belong to yourselves anymore. So you have to get it that while you are single, it's a time to build into yourself emotional maturity and mental capacity. It's going to help you so much in marriage because marriage comes with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of requirements. So you take your time in your 20s while you are waiting to be married. Like waiting shouldn't be that you're just sitting around and whiling away time and sleeping and being lazy and all that. Of course, you should get busy with building yourself emotionally, mentally, and preparing for what is ahead of you. Remember, I said that your 20s is a time where you prepare for what is coming for you in your 30s. So, part of the things you do while you wait for your 30s or wait for marriage, maybe you want to marry in your 30s or in your 40s, depending on what you want. They are both good, they are both fine, depending on your plans or whichever route you have chosen to take. Understand that you don't just have to sit down and just be waiting for the right time to come. You have to read books that helps you build emotionally and of course learn from the relationships you have kept around you, family relationship, friendships and all that, or you've dated or you're dating someone, of course, it helps you to learn how to take care of yourself. You begin to learn your temperament, learn what works for you, learn the kind of person you can move with and the kind of person you can never deal with. That helps you a lot to choose the right person when it is time and equally relate the right way. Another thing you should get busy doing in your 20s is to get a clear life goals. You have to understand that you cannot just get over your 20s without understanding where you are headed for. You can't get into someone's life without having a clear goal, clear direction of where you're going to. The high rate of divorce today is just because a lot of visionless people are getting married to themselves and expect to thrive in the marriage. Like it's not possible. There must be common understanding. You have to get yourself. So in your 20s is a time where you clear out your goals, like you know exactly what you want. That is a time where you deal with what we call midlife crisis and you begin to figure out what works for you, the kind of life you want to live, where you want to go, what you want to achieve, your dreams, your visions, and that is going to help you to choose the person that aligns to these things. And when you do that, it becomes easy for you to flow with the person when you finally get married to the person. So your 20s is a time where you take your time, relax, stop thinking about who to marry and all that. Just take your time and excuse yourself from all those distractions and figure out exactly where you are headed for because that is going to help you to hook up with the right person because you need the right person to get to your destination. Once you have the wrong person in your boat, of course, you are never going to get to where you want to get to. If you take your time and maximize your 20s respectfully, you won't have to struggle with these mistakes. Another thing you must get busy doing in your 20s is to build a quality relationship with God, a closer walk with God. You see, marriage is filled with battles, both physical battles and spiritual battles. Life itself entirely is filled with different stages of battles, different stages of experiences that may require, in fact, they all require the presence of God to help you to succeed in them. You need God for a successful life. You need God for a successful marriage. So you can't just go into marriage without having a strong walk with God. So in your 20s is when you are single, when you are a youth. Just like in the book of Corinthians, Paul talked about the fact that it is the youth that knows the heartbeat of God. As a youth, it is a time to serve God. It's a time to build a relationship with God because you need this relationship to sustain your 30s, to sustain your 40s, to sustain your 50s, your 60s, and even those late times when you should be resting in life. So when you don't have a quality relationship with God, how do you plan to succeed? Because life is full of physical battles and equally spiritual battles. So your 20s is a time where you take your time, go for evangelism, go for love walk, do things, serve the Lord, serve the church, do a lot of things and be committed, be busy with these things. Like there are so many things to get engaged with in your 20s and you can't just risk the fact that you are just getting engaged with someone. So some certain things can just wait for other things to take place first. So you can actually pause that marriage proposal that is coming in your 20s so that you can serve God more for the moment and before you get into that, so that you can achieve the things you need It is your choice. It's not about the pressure. It is your choice. You can put everything under control. You can actually tell the Holy Spirit that you don't want this marriage now, that it can help you to, suspend it for later or for next time and all that. And all things will work together for you. So in your 20s is a time where you build a strong relationship with God. How do you do that? You get more committed because you are not distracted by children, husband. Because when you are in a relationship, especially marriage relationship, you are often distracted by what to do for his husband, what to cook. I'm married, so I can tell you there's a whole lot of demands that will be on you when you are married. So in your singlehood, your 20s, at least your 20s. Some people are single in 30s, and that's fine. That's not bad. That's not evil. Of course, you can take advantage of that to become even more stronger, you know, than you were, than someone who just got up from their 20s and got into marriage. Take your time to build you because the Bible says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. So, as people that are living on the earth or as children of God, you have to understand that life is full of battles. And when you get into marriage, you have a different person altogether to fight with. So that two heads are better than one. What are they coming to do? They are coming to face life, to deal with life, and to join hands together, and you need God. If you don't have God, how are you going to find Him when you really need Him and you are so much in need of Him? So you need to move with God into different stages of your life. Part and parcel of the things that you need to build as a foundation in your 20s is the presence of God, your relationship with the Holy Spirit, because you cannot do without that. You cannot miss that. Your 20s is a time of impact. It's a time you cannot miss just because you want to get married. I know the pressure of marriage right now is on the rise, but trust me, that is not all that is required for life. People who rush in quickly are already rushing out. And of course, it takes more to stay in marriage. So even when you marry the right person, but in your 20s, sometimes you could struggle to find your feet back. I can tell you that it is not easy. And trust me, the things I shared in this video are things you would find impacting if you listen to them over and over again. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, and equally share the video to friends and family who you feel would be blessed by the video. Please don't forget to comment if you have any question. Yeah, my name is Esther Christine. God bless.